Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you to discuss a timeless battle, a battle that we all face within ourselves day after day. It is the battle between faith and doubt. We may not always recognize it, but this struggle determines the very course of our lives. It's not about the challenges we face on the outside, but rather how we meet those challenges on the inside. Let's first acknowledge the power of imagination. We often hear that our thoughts create our reality, but I want you to understand it more deeply. What you can imagine, you can achieve. Imagination is not merely a fantasy. It is a creative force that shapes your world. When we think of something deeply, feel it as if it's already real, and continue to believe in it, we are setting the wheels of creation in motion. Now, faith is the fuel that propels this imagination forward. Faith is the inner knowing, the confidence in what is unseen. It's the certainty that what you desire, no matter how impossible it may seem, is already on its way to you. It is not wishful thinking, nor is it blind hope. Faith is a deep inner conviction. It's a feeling that transcends time and space. A feeling that says, I am not waiting for things to change, because in my heart, I already know they are changing now. On the other hand, there is doubt. Doubt is the shadow that falls over the mind, obscuring our vision, creating uncertainty. It whispers, maybe you're not good enough. Or, what if it doesn't work? Doubt sows fear and confusion, and when we give it space, it weakens our resolve, preventing us from stepping forward. It paralyzes us. But here's the truth. Doubt is not a reality. It is simply the absence of faith. It is a lie, a story we tell ourselves to avoid stepping into the unknown. And that, my friends, is where courage comes in. Courage is not the absence of fear or doubt. No, courage is the willingness to act in spite of them. Courage is the choice to move forward when everything inside you says stop. It's too risky. Courage is the understanding that uncertainty is a natural part of growth, and that the unknown holds the very seeds of our dreams. Think about this. Every great success story, every breakthrough, started with a moment of courage. When someone dared to believe in themselves, when they refused to let fear or doubt dictate their lives. And the funny thing is that courage was built on a foundation of faith. Faith that the invisible forces of the universe are aligning to bring about what you desire. Faith that your thoughts, your beliefs, and your vision are all working in concert to manifest your reality. This is where persistence comes in. Faith isn't just a one-time act. It's a practice, a way of living. The world may test you, and yes, doubt may arise, but faith holds steady, even when circumstances don't appear favorable, even when people tell you it's impossible. You stand firm. You persist in the knowing that your dream is already in motion. And with each step, your courage builds. Living from the end. This is a key principle in manifesting anything. It's not enough to hope for the best. You must live as if the best has already happened. You must feel the success in your body and mind now. That's what faith asks of you, to live from the end, to embody the emotions of your fulfilled desire in the present moment. Doubt sees only the barriers. Faith sees only the possibility. And here's where the real power lies, in your emotions. When you feel the excitement, the joy, the gratitude for something that hasn't yet physically manifested, you are channeling the most powerful energy of all. Emotion is the creative force that amplifies your thoughts. Courage adds the power of action, and faith provides the direction. The three together, emotion, courage, and faith, can move mountains. The words are also an extension of this power. When you speak, do you speak from a place of belief or from a place of doubt? When you affirm your desires, are you truly aligned with them, or are you hesitating, unsure if you deserve them? Speak with confidence, speak with clarity, and speak as though you are already there. Every word you say plants a seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. What you speak, you will create. Faith triumphs over doubt. Every step forward, every courageous act, every affirmation spoken from the heart is a victory over the doubts that try to pull us back. It is this quiet, unwavering faith that will see you through. You are a creator, not a passive observer. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions are the tools you use to sculpt your destiny. So I ask you today, where does your faith lie? Do you trust in the power of your imagination to shape your reality? Or are you letting doubt hold you back from the life you are meant to live? Let your courage rise. Let your faith be unshakable. And know this: the universe is waiting to respond to you, not as you are, but as you believe yourself to be. Step forward in faith, and the world will open up before you. Imagination is the blueprint of creation. It is not just a passive process of daydreaming or wishing for something that might happen someday. It is an active, dynamic force that shapes our reality. When we close our eyes and visualize something, we are not just idly passing time. In that moment, we are tapping into the fabric of the universe itself. What we imagine, we impress upon the subconscious mind, and it begins to take form, manifesting in ways both seen and unseen. Every invention, every great accomplishment started in the mind of someone who dared to see something that wasn't yet visible to others. So we must ask, the creative power of imagination transcends mere thought. It is the way the mind communicates with the soul. It's the means by which we connect with the energy of the universe, which responds not to our surface-level desires, but to our inner visions. Faith and imagination work hand in hand. When you have faith in something you've imagined, you bring that vision into reality. You don't just believe in it intellectually, you feel it, live it in your mind and body as if it is already here. Think of the times when you've achieved something that seemed impossible at first. What was the starting point? It began with a spark of imagination. You saw yourself succeeding, and you felt that success before it happened. Whether you were aware of it or not, you were planting the seed of your own creation. You might have had doubts along the way, but there was a moment when your imagination was so vivid, so real, that doubt couldn't touch it. It was in those moments that your power to create was strongest. Imagination allows us to experience the reality of something before it exists. By vividly imagining our desires, we act as if they are already true. Our feelings of success, abundance, love, and peace become the very energy that draws these things into our lives. Imagination is not a tool for escaping reality. It is a tool for creating a new one. It helps us redefine our experiences and change the course of our future by allowing us to live in a state of expectancy and possibility. So, imagination is far more than just a fleeting daydream. It is the first step in every act of creation. When paired with faith, it becomes an unstoppable force. You see it in your mind, you feel it in your soul, and soon enough, your world begins to rearrange itself to make it real. It's not magic, it's the natural law of creation. Faith is not simply about believing in something you hope will happen. It is much deeper than that. Faith is the inner vision that holds your desired outcome as a truth long before it ever materializes in the physical world. It's the absolute certainty that what you have imagined in your mind is not only possible, but inevitable. Faith is seeing beyond the present circumstances and trusting in a reality that is yet to unfold. When you truly have faith, it's as though you are living in two worlds at once. You can see your desired outcome clearly in your mind, and it becomes more real to you than the physical world around you. You don't need external evidence to prove it's happening, because you feel it as if it already is. This kind of faith transcends time and space. It exists in the present moment, even though the thing you desire has yet to appear. Think about a time when you've had a deep sense of knowing about something. Maybe a dream, an aspiration, or even a personal belief. That knowing wasn't based on what was happening around you. It wasn't tied to the opinions or actions of others. It was a quiet, unwavering confidence deep within you that couldn't be shaken, no matter what the external world might say. That's faith. It's a conviction in the heart that doesn't require logical proof. It is the inner vision that allows you to see the end result as already accomplished, and in doing so, sets the entire creative process into motion. Faith is the ability to live from the end as though your desired reality is already a part of your present experience. It's not about waiting for the world to confirm your dreams. It's about acting, feeling, and being as though they are already true. In this state of faith, you are no longer hoping or wishing for something to happen. You are living with the certainty that it will, because in your heart, you already know it's done. This inner vision of faith is also what propels you forward when doubt creeps in. When faced with challenges or obstacles, it's your faith in your vision that gives you the strength to persist. Faith doesn't question. It simply knows. It is the force that transforms fleeting wishes into firm decisions. Because once you have seen it in your mind, once you have accepted it as truth, the world must eventually conform to that vision. Faith is therefore not an external thing. It doesn't come from the outside in. It is an inner vision, a knowing that resides within you. The world outside may be full of uncertainty, but within, there is a knowing that your desired reality is already in the works. This inner vision, rooted in faith, allows you to navigate the uncertainties of life, not by relying on what's visible to the eye, but by trusting in what is visible to the heart. Doubt is one of the most insidious forces that can prevent us from stepping into our full potential. It is a quiet saboteur that creeps into our minds, often unnoticed at first, but once it takes root, it clouds our clarity and limits our possibilities. At its core, doubt is a mental resistance, a belief that something isn't possible or that we are unworthy of achieving our dreams. It doesn't come from external forces. It arises from within, often from past experiences, fears, or the conditioning of those around us. Yet, the power it holds is immense, because doubt operates like a veil that distorts our perception of reality. When doubt enters the mind, it shifts our focus from possibility to limitation. It's like trying to see through fog. Everything around us becomes unclear and murky. The potential that once seemed so vivid in our imagination suddenly becomes obscured by what-if scenarios. What if I fail? What if it doesn't work out? What if I'm not good enough? These questions aren't mere reflections. They are projections of fear that stem from the belief that the desired outcome is out of reach. In reality, doubt acts as a barrier to creation, because it makes us believe that the gap between where we are and where we want to be is insurmountable. Doubt also limits our actions. When we doubt our abilities or our worth, we hesitate. We second-guess our decisions and avoid opportunities for growth, thinking we are not ready or deserving. It paralyzes us in a state of inaction, and this lack of movement ensures that the dream or goal we desire remains distant. The fear of failure holds us back from taking the necessary steps to bring our vision to life. It's almost as though doubt puts us on a mental pause, leaving us trapped in a loop of maybe tomorrow, and I'll wait for the right moment. But that moment never comes because doubt has conditioned us to stay in a state of waiting, never taking action. In addition to its power to freeze us in place, doubt also distorts our emotional energy. Instead of feeling empowered and inspired by our dreams, doubt makes us anxious and insecure. It saps our enthusiasm and injects negativity into our thoughts, shifting our focus away from the possibilities toward the perceived problems. This negative emotional state further lowers our vibration, making it harder to attract the opportunities, people, or resources we need. What we focus on, we attract. And when doubt becomes our focus, we end up attracting more of what we fear: failure, disappointment, or uncertainty. Doubt feeds off our past experiences. It convinces us that because something didn't work out before, it won't work out now. It tells us that our past failures or mistakes define our future potential. But this is a lie. Every moment is a new opportunity, and doubt traps us in the past by constantly replaying old stories in our minds. It's like being stuck in a loop, constantly telling ourselves that we are not capable, that we don't have what it takes to succeed. But the truth is, we are not our past. We are not our mistakes. The power to change, to grow, and to move forward lies in this present moment. But doubt keeps us chained to what has already occurred. Doubt also has a way of pulling us out of alignment with our true selves. When we listen to doubt, we stop trusting in our inner guidance, we lose sight of our own instincts, our own dreams, and we start to measure our worth by external standards, often dictated by the opinions of others or the expectations of society. Doubt creates dissonance between what we desire deep down and what we believe we are capable of. We start to shrink, to play small, to second-guess every move, and in doing so, we move further away from the life we are meant to create. In essence, doubt is a limiting force because it convinces us that we are not enough, that we are not capable, and that the dreams we hold are not achievable. It makes the path forward seem impossible and the reward seem out of reach. But the truth is, doubt is an illusion. It has no power of its own unless we allow it to take root in our minds. It is not a real force. It is simply a mental habit, a conditioned response. And the only way to overcome it is by choosing to replace it with faith. When we focus on our inner vision, when we remind ourselves of our capabilities, and when we act in spite of fear, doubt begins to lose its grip. The fog clears, the path becomes visible, and we realize that we are capable of so much more than we ever thought possible. Our thoughts are not just fleeting, abstract concepts. They are the very building blocks of our reality. The mind is an active creator, and every thought that passes through it carries with it the potential to shape the world around us. What we think about, what we focus on, and what we dwell on most often begins to take form, manifesting into our experiences, relationships, and circumstances. Thought is energy, and just as energy moves and vibrates, so too do our thoughts. They resonate with the universe and draw back to us the conditions and experiences that are in alignment with them. What's powerful to recognize is that thought isn't passive. Every thought is an act of creation. The mind doesn't merely observe reality, it interprets it, filters it, and projects it outward. The more energy we give to a thought, the more real it becomes in our lives. Our subconscious minds, which govern the majority of our actions and beliefs, are highly impressionable and respond to the dominant thoughts we hold. Whether we are conscious of it or not, every moment is an opportunity for us to plant seeds that will eventually grow into our physical experiences. When we focus on a desired outcome, we are engaging in an act of creative power. It's not just about thinking positively or wishing for something to happen. It's about holding a mental image, a vision of what we want, and feeling it as though it is already here. In this way, thought becomes an active participant in the process of creation. Thoughts, particularly when paired with emotion, are magnetic forces that attract experiences to us. If you hold a thought long enough, with enough emotional energy behind it, it begins to form and take shape in the physical world. The mind is like a magnet, drawing to us the experiences that align with our most dominant thoughts. If we focus on scarcity, fear, or limitation, that is what we will attract. If we focus on abundance, growth, and opportunity, we will begin to see more of that in our lives. It's not that the universe is favoring one outcome over another. It is simply responding to the signals we are emitting through our thoughts and emotions. Our thoughts set the tone for the type of experiences we will have. The more aligned our thoughts are with what we truly want, the more likely it is that we will see those desires reflected in our reality. This creative power of thought also works in subtle, often invisible ways. Many times the effects of our thoughts aren't immediately apparent. However, just as a seed planted in the soil takes time to grow, our thoughts, when nurtured over time, eventually manifest in ways we may not always expect. For example, think of a time when you focused on a goal or a desire for a long period, only to later find opportunities or situations arising that seem to support or move you closer to that goal. This is the law of attraction at work. What you think about expands, and the universe responds by delivering the opportunities, people, and circumstances that resonate with your inner vision. The creative power of thought also operates through belief. What we believe about ourselves and the world has a tremendous impact on what we create. Belief is a thought that has been thought repeatedly until it becomes deeply ingrained in the subconscious. It's a thought that we accept as truth, regardless of external evidence. Now you believe in your own ability to succeed, in your worthiness, in your capacity to create the life you desire. You align your thoughts with the reality you want to manifest. On the other hand, if you hold limiting beliefs, such as, I am not good enough, or it's too late for me, your thoughts will reflect those limitations, and you will create a reality that reinforces them. The beauty of this creative power is that it is within your control. You are the one steering the ship of your thoughts. While we cannot always control the external circumstances or the people around us, we can control how we respond to them through our thoughts. By choosing to think in ways that are aligned with our desires, by consciously selecting thoughts that empower us rather than limit us, we begin to harness the creative power of our mind. The key is not to simply wish for something, but to think it into being. Thoughts of success, abundance, love, and health aren't just fleeting ideas that pop into our heads and disappear. They are the foundation upon which everything else is built. The more consistently you hold thoughts of a desired outcome, and the more you feel the emotion connected to those thoughts, the more you are energizing the creation of your reality. What you think and believe will begin to manifest in ways that feel almost effortless, because the energy behind those thoughts aligns with the universe's natural flow of abundance and creation. In this way, thought is far more than a passive process. It is an active, creative force that shapes our lives in ways we are often unaware of. Whether we realize it or not, we are always creating, always sending out signals into the universe through our thoughts. The more consciously we direct those thoughts, the more we become masters of our own reality. And as we begin to align our thinking with our highest desires, we step into the true power of our creative nature, realizing that everything we have and everything we will ever experience begins with a single thought. Courage is not the absence of fear or uncertainty. It is the ability to move forward despite them. When life presents us with challenges or the unknown, it's natural to feel fear, to hesitate, or even to doubt ourselves. However, courage is the power to act in those moments of discomfort, to stand tall in the face of the unknown, and to keep moving forward even when the outcome is unclear. It's about embracing the uncertainty, acknowledging that we cannot control everything, yet still choosing to trust in our ability to navigate through it. In moments of uncertainty, the instinctive response might be to pull back, to stay in the safety of the known, because the unknown feels risky and unpredictable. Yet it's in those very moments that growth happens. The unknown is where new opportunities lie, where our greatest potential resides. Courage is the bridge between where we are now and where we want to be, and it is built in the moments when we step out of our comfort zones and face what we cannot predict. Think of a time in your life when you took a leap of faith. It didn't matter that the path ahead wasn't clear or that you didn't know exactly how things would unfold. What mattered was your willingness to take that first step, even when the ground beneath you felt shaky. That first step required courage, because it required you to act in spite of not knowing what would happen next. And in doing so, you opened yourself up to experiences, lessons, and growth that would not have been possible if you had stayed safe in the known. Courage, in this sense, isn't about being fearless. It's about choosing to move forward even though you feel fear. Fear is a natural emotion. It is a sign that something important is at stake. It's a signal from our mind that we are about to step into new territory. But that doesn't mean the fear is something to avoid. On the contrary, it can be a powerful signal that you are on the verge of something significant. True courage is moving forward with the understanding that fear is simply a part of the process, not something to be feared in itself. In facing uncertainty, courage also means trusting that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. It's about believing in your own resilience, even when the future feels uncertain. Life rarely unfolds in a linear, predictable fashion. If you wait for certainty before taking action, you may wait forever. But when you embrace the uncertainty, when you step into the unknown with the trust that you will find your way, you begin to unlock a deep well of inner strength that you may not even realize exists within you. Courage in the face of uncertainty also involves a kind of surrender, a surrender to the process, to the flow of life, and to the idea that things will unfold exactly as they are meant to. This doesn't mean you give up on your dreams or stop trying to achieve your goals. It means you allow yourself to move forward without needing to control every detail of the journey. It means releasing the need for perfection or the need to have all the answers now. Instead, it's about trusting that each step you take will lead you closer to your desired outcome, even if you cannot see the final destination yet. It's easy to be courageous when everything is clear, when the path is laid out before us, and when the outcome is certain. But real courage shines brightest in the fog of uncertainty, when nothing is guaranteed, when the path forward seems unclear, and when the odds are not in your favor. In those moments, courage is a choice, not a feeling. It's choosing to believe that despite all the unknowns, you have the inner resources to handle whatever comes your way. In every act of courage, there is a quiet surrender to the mystery of life. It's the willingness to say, I don't know how this will turn out, but I trust that it will work out in the best way possible. This trust is not based on external circumstances, but on the inner knowing that you are capable, that you are resourceful, and that you are always supported by forces, both seen and unseen. Courage is the act of living with that trust, even when the path is unclear. The beauty of courage is that it often opens doors we didn't even know existed. It connects us to new people, new experiences, and new ways of thinking. In facing the unknown, we often discover parts of ourselves that we never knew were there, strengths, talents, and qualities that we wouldn't have found if we had stayed in the safe, comfortable zone. Each act of courage, no matter how small, adds another layer of confidence to our being, allowing us to face the next uncertainty with greater ease and trust. Courage in the face of uncertainty is a commitment to growth, a commitment to stepping into the unknown with faith, and a commitment to believing in the process of life. It's the understanding that life doesn't always have to be predictable or safe to be worthwhile. Sometimes it's precisely the uncertainty that makes the journey worthwhile, because it is in the moments of uncertainty that we find our greatest capacity for growth, transformation, and self-discovery. As we stand at the threshold of the unknown, we must remember this. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the willingness to face it head-on. The path ahead will not always be clear, and the road may be filled with uncertainty. But it is in those moments of uncertainty that we find our true strength. It is in our willingness to move forward despite fear that we unlock the potential for greatness. When we choose courage, we choose to embrace life fully, not with the assurance of perfect outcomes, but with the belief that we are capable of navigating whatever comes our way. Each step, no matter how small, is an affirmation of our power to create, to grow, and to transform. So as you face the challenges ahead, remember, you do not need to know everything, and you do not need to have all the answers. What you need is the courage to take that first step, and then the courage to keep walking, even when the path becomes unclear. Trust in yourself, trust in the process, and trust that the universe will meet you where you stand. The unknown is not something to fear, it is something to embrace, because when you step into the unknown with courage, you not only change your world, you change yourself. And that is where the magic happens.